I get very in mode, baby. We here, we doing it again. What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of Rated G with Gary G. Garcia and Brian Licata. It's your boys. I'm Gary G. Garcia, along with my partner in Misinformation, Brian Licata. Good to see you, my boy.
What up, G?
I'm chilling. I'm excited. I got new pictures up on the wall over here, man, of Mama Cat chilling in the background. Let me get that popping a little better so you can see my Sade. There you go. Yes. I'm feeling good. We got a special guest with us today, but before we get into that, let's just jump right into it. If you're looking for some bud in the story of Queens, man, this show today is sponsored by one of the best establishments where you can get bud at in the story of Queens, Apollo Bud, over on Crescent Street in Astoria Boulevard. Go check them out. Tell them that Rated G sent you and get a free eighth with your first purchase of an eighth or more.
That's nice.
And if you're looking for something to do on the weekends, today's already Sunday, but you know there's always another weekend ahead. Trying to get a little deeper with somebody you love. How deep? Fist deep. Get yourself a game. XXX Playground over at XXXPlayground.com. Only the best adult tool communication game ever created, man. And no better way to say I love you by tickling the inside of their heart with your actual hand. Check XXXPlayground.com, man, and show some love.
And then go over to enditwasgood.net/shop, the official home for Rated G merch. We have our Rated G mug here, which is Gary's quote of his ignorance is what makes him adorable. And it's true. It really
still does.
Yeah, it does. And it's got our logo on the front here. You can check that out. John's got some other shirts and shit over here too. Check it out, enditwasgood.net/shop.
Thank you, man. And whoever's here listening, man, big up to you. I love doing this live, man. We're doing it again. And we have a special guest with us today, man. He's been on the show before, and it's great to have him back. He is one of the funniest dudes I know, man. Jason Scoop.
Yo!
Comedian, actor, and also the creator of one of the best podcasts out there. If I have to rate podcasts, and I'm not including myself, the Donald Trump podcast, which I was an honor to be on the other day. And I fucking love that podcast, dude. If you don't know it, check it out. I certify that shit. I put my stamp of approval on that shit, man.
That means a lot coming from you, Gary, because this is actually my favorite podcast, your podcast, my favorite podcast on the entire World Wide Web. And that World Wide Web is big.
It's big. It's huge.
Frankly, it's huge. Okay, it's gigantic and very bigly, and yeah, brah.
Very bigly. It's
you
good.
Guys
It's
are
good to have you here, man.
You guys are the truth. That's all I gotta say. You guys are the truth.
Did you perform this weekend at all? Did you have any shows?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. What's up? Yeah.
How did it go?
It went really well. It went really well. I was at St. Mark's Comedy Club. Yeah, I was, they got the empanadas and the comedy. I mean, what more do you need?
The restaurant they still got the restaurant? No, the restaurant's not there anymore.
The restaurant, may it rest in peace.
Yeah, we had Danny on here.
Yeah.
We talked about it. Yeah.
Yeah, the restaurant's closed. I was wondering, I didn't want to ask. I said, so the restaurant is shut down, but the comedy club, which is attached to the restaurant, is still open. So I don't know what witchcraft and wizardry y'all are using here, but hey,
if it works. Yeah, the restaurant just sort of became the entryway.
Right. So you just walk through an abandoned restaurant.
It used to be
to
the
get back
comedy
there.
club was in the back of the restaurant. Right. Now, the restaurant's not even there, so it's just an entryway to the comedy club.
It's actually a hall. It's like a separate hall, but that's attached to a yoga studio. So you'll walk in, and I'll look, and I'm like, is this chick coming to the show? Or, oh, okay, she's going upstairs to do yoga. So it's like kind of like a guess game,
My shows were very interesting, actually. I walked 10 people yesterday.
Really?
I wish.
That's impressive. That's a lot for you, bro. That's a lot.
What did you say? Known. Well, two of them, I don't think I walked. Two was an older Asian couple. It was like,
I'm sure they love your material. Gary's material does the best with older Asians.
Well, no,
it's his biggest demographic.
I don't think they left because of me, because as they were walking out, they both kind of looked and kind of were like, you know, like, and wave goodbye with smiles, like they were enjoying themselves, but they had somewhere to be. And that happens a lot in AC. So right when they're walking out, I say, I'm not going to take that personal. A lot of people got things to do, and people start laughing right off the bat, they giggle. So I said, I'm not going to take that personal. And then another couple gets up to walk out, white couple. And I said, I'm not going to take that personal either, even though I will say this. She wanted to leave. He wanted to stay, but I understand his hands are tied. He wants to get laid. It's Atlantic City, right? Then 4 chicks get up, older women. And I said, I'm not going to take it personal, because normally if someone leaves because they don't like me, they don't just leave. They make sure they make sure everybody knows that they're leaving because they don't like me. You understand what I'm saying? Like, no one ever just walks out. They always like, you suck, or you're an asshole, or you're not fun. Like, they make sure everyone knows, right? So these 4 chicks get up to walk out, and I go, I'm not going to take that. I said, I'm not going to take that personally either. And the one wearing the mask, only one was wearing the mask. She goes, you should. And I went, yeah, I know, but I'm still not, right? And then I go, but that's more like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, in other words, everyone knew she didn't like me. That's more like it. She left because of me. It's strange. I don't know. I don't know what I said that could have upset them. I didn't even talk about abortions or anything. Jasmine, what's up, my love? That's my daughter. Welcome, mommy. So glad you checked. She always checks in on me, mainly to make sure I'm okay.
Well, if the girl was wearing a mask, did you do any COVID material? Did you do any of that?
No, I just said, don't let the mask. I said, like, don't let us fight over stupid shit like masks. Everyone's not happy that they've gone away. I know a bunch of strippers with pretty eyes and fucked up teeth that are upset right now. I said, if they want to rock 5 or 6 of them, let them rock 5 or 6 of them. We'll watch them pass out while they're waiting for the light. And, that's the only thing I said. But I was saying, like, do you? I don't give a fuck if you wear a mask. I don't know. I don't know what I said, to be honest. I really don't even know. I don't even know what I was talking about, actually. I did 3 shows last night. I can't possibly remember. I can't remember. But anyway, Jason had me on the show yesterday. Like I said, you got to check out this fucking podcast. I had to change when I watch it, because I'm not going to lie. I started watching it mainly to support my brother. I started watching it because it's my brother and I know he's funny. So I started putting it on like when I would try to go to sleep, and hopefully I would fall asleep while I was watching it. You know what I'm saying? He gets the view. I get to watch some of it. And I thought, I can never fall fucking asleep. So now I can't watch it like that no more. Now it's like, just, I got to watch it, because why am I even bothering? I'm up like this, fucking watching the whole thing, dying laughing the whole fucking time. The whole fucking time, man.
Hey,
I love that show, dude. Man. You embody the character so great. And that's why the only one who I've ever seen challenge you really is the Mexican Trump.
Yeah, Mexican.
Guys, it's great when because they both try to, like, they both kind of go out at each other.
Right.
And I don't know, he makes you break. He gets you to break every now and then. And when you break out of character, that shit has me dying. I told him it's like watching the old Carol Burnett's, like, like the skit comedy, whenever they would break character. You see, Harvey Keitel breaking, not Harvey Keitel, what's the name? Harvey, can't remember his name. But either way, when you see them breaking character and trying to still do the thing that to me, that's the best. And you bring that to your show a lot. Like, you just, like, it's right.
You want to play a clip? You want to put a clip?
The Mexican, of course, play a clip.
Yeah, let's play it. Yeah, all right. Let's get it up.
I should have told you what clip I actually wanted, because there was a clip that, oh yeah, this is great.
Stumbling around and coming up with different ways to make you pay for the wall.
No, I don't think so.
No, we're gonna build it, okay?
Oh, you think you're gonna build a wall?
No,
look,
wherever you build a wall, we're gonna build a wall on the other side. Because a lot of people is coming to Mexico. You've seen this? If you've seen BuzzFeed, Vox News, a lot of Americanos coming to Mexico trying to look for oportunidad, and we're gonna
oportunidad. Yo. I fucking love your show, man. That shit is fucking great. Wherever you build a wall, we're gonna build a wall on the other side.
I appreciate the love, man. Yeah, it's really cool to me how creative I could get with it, because it's like every week when I wrap up an episode, I'm like, okay, another one in the barrel. But I'm like, how the heck am I going to ever do that again? Like, how am I going to come up with a whole nother half hour of Donald Trump? And then a week goes by, and then, you know, things happen in the news. I come up with some wacky ideas.
Dude, are you crazy, man? You got a good at least 3-year run of just pure material, and if he wins, forget about it.
Yeah,
it's all over. He'll probably fucking produce your shit.
Yeah,
it'll probably be.
I might actually meet him again.
Really?
I met him once, and I always said to myself, I felt it in my bones. I said, we're gonna cross paths again. And you know just how life is, comedy. You meet people who know people who know people who meet people who know people. And I met a guy who is attached to this. They call it the ReAwaken America tour. And they started during COVID, and it was like to protest lockdowns, but it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And now they're like, it's a worldwide tour, and they kind of auditioned me because they also have a podcast called the Thrive Time Show. And I did the podcast, and they're like, this guy's great. We want to book you on the ReAwaken America tour. So I'm like, all right, dope. Which is at Trump Doral. It's at Donald Trump's golf course
in Doral, Florida. Yeah.
In Florida. Yeah. So they send me the lineup, and it's like, bro, I'm standing between Roger Stone and the My Pillow guy on the lineup. It's literally Roger Stone, me doing 15 minutes.
What?
And then Mike Lindell, My Pillow, right after me. And then
when are you doing this?
May 13th. Jim Brewer's on the show. And then they're like, Eric Trump is booked. Eric Trump is like 2 people after me. And then then we have a mystery special guest from 7:15 to 8. We don't want to say who it is, but I mean, it's got to be. And I just heard
it's going to be Trump.
I don't know. But
we don't know that for sure, people.
But the guy who booked me, I heard the guy who runs the whole thing was in a 2-hour meeting at Mar-a-Lago with Trump on Monday. So last Monday. So, hey.
It's looking like, I mean, I would think it's probably going to be Trump.
Basically, Roger Stone's opening for you. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, Roger's the man, bro. Roger's had me on his show. Dude, Roger, I don't know if the audience knows of Roger Stone, but they got the podcast. Not the podcast, the documentary, Get Me Roger Stone. That dude is like a real life James Bond, bro. Like he worked with Nixon, Reagan, Bush, both Bushes, Trump. This dude's he's got a Nixon
knows
tattoo.
Where the bodies are buried.
Yeah, I didn't
exactly. So
you did his show.
The bodies are buried, dude.
Yeah, I did his show. It once again. The way I got this is like old school. Like, forget what I'm doing on the internet. It's just literally being outside, meeting people who know people who know people who know people. Like,
that's 90% of the game.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of times, like when you do some shit, like you bring your lady to work with you and your lady's not in the game, she thinks, oh, all you do is hang out with your friends. And you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're networking all the fucking time.
Exactly.
All the time.
Boy, Ron Barba, he was in a skit of mine for TikTok.
Ron's the dude, man. I like Ron.
That's one of my gurus right there. And he's he goes,
he's done a lot of shit, Ron, too, man.
Oh yeah,
he's been in a lot of shit. They had like that Doritos commercial for a while, right?
Ron's everywhere. He's like a Roger Stone of show business.
Yeah,
he's connected to everything in his own way.
Yeah,
and
so
he did. Yeah, there he
Ron,
is,
boy.
That's face, Ron, bro. That's good Ron. Dude. You could see his whole aura in his headshot right there. That's Ron.
Yeah.
And he goes,
shout out to you, Ron. I like Ron. Ron's always show me love.
Yeah, he's like, come by tonight. It's bar. Rudy's gonna be there. I'm like, oh, you're talking about Rudy's, the place that you get a free hot dog with every drink? He's like, nah, Giuliani. He's like, maybe you could do something with him. So I'm like, oh shoot. So that night I show up, Giuliani's there. I end up doing a TikTok, with Giuliani. And then that same night, I meet this guy, Sal Greco. Sal Greco is BFFs with Roger Stone.
I feel like I know that name, man. Sal
Greco. I know that name.
He's been in the news. News. He was fired from the NYPD. This is the cleanest guy in the world. Doesn't smoke pot, doesn't drink. All he did was show up to work every day, protect and serve the city of New York. for 15 years. He was this close to his what do you call it, retirement, getting his pension. The NYPD fired him because of his association with Roger Stone. They claimed NYPDs can't be associated with known felons. I guess Roger Stone was technically convicted, but then Trump pardoned him. But then Sal was Stone's security on January 6th. So they got him on that. So he's suing there he is. That's Sal. That's my guy right there. So Sal is suing the NYPD right now for $25 million. Sal is suing the New York City Police Department for $25 million. That's my boy right there, Sal.
Yo, New York City is the craziest place on the planet. And it is a small town too.
Yeah. No, it's nuts. But I have sort of a what's the word? Sort of an opinion on New York like going to hell. Like I was kind of when de Blasio got elected, I said, I know the city's gonna go to hell, but at least like rent may go down, and and then COVID kind of just sped up that process. So I feel like New York is getting back to like 70s, 80s New York. So in a way,
Listen, man, I grew up in the 70s when there was Fort Apache, the Bronx, and shit like that. When 42nd Street was 42nd, I was upset when they changed 42nd Street. Like I ain't gonna lie, Giuliani came in and cleaned everything up.
Yeah.
But I liked when 42nd Street was grimy. Yeah. It was like you went there, and if you went there and you were able to chill there for a night, then it was like, it was like you earned your stripes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the city had a little bit more character.
Yeah,
under like the Bloomberg
porn
years,
stores.
Yeah,
people trying to rob you in some sort of scam.
Right.
It was a horrible place.
Right.
But I loved it.
Exactly. It had a little bit more character. And I feel like in the Bloomberg years, which were great, crime was low, but it became like a big mall for rich people. Like,
yeah, I mean, Giuliani started that. Ohio. Giuliani got Disney in there, and all those motherfuckers cleaned it all up. He did what he was supposed to do. I know he was a good mayor because I hated him.
Right.
And I hated him because I did crime.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That, I didn't mind who was before him. There was a couple of them I didn't mind. And Giuliani, he came in and started locking shit down. He was very annoying. The dude before him, I made a lot of money when he was around. So I liked him.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. That's what I said. It's sort of a
truth.
Double-edged
That's
sword.
How you could tell if a politician's doing a good job.
Yeah.
Do the criminals hate him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's the one who put the cameras in and shit. Now you couldn't fucking just smoke weed in front of the building. You had to like find angles. He did all that shit. He cleaned up New York.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel Rudy kind of, he's getting old now. Let's just say that. You know what I'm saying? He's getting old now. I think he should just go with like, fade off into the sunset as the mayor of New York who got us through the whole shit, took the bull by the horns.
Yeah,
I agree. I like him now. Now I look back, I go, I guess he did a good job because I hated him when I was fucking, you know what I'm saying, getting arrested all the time.
Right.
Who was the guy? Dinkins. I like Dinkins.
I don't know much about. I know the name. I think they referenced him on a Seinfeld episode.
Dinkins was mayor, man. I used to go outside in chancletas with a robe, weed packed in both my pockets with my dog off the leash and just sit in the back of my building smoking a blunt, selling weed.
No one said nothing. Circle though. It's kind of come full circle because Giuliani cleaned it up, but then de Blasio and COVID. Now you got people smoking weed in the street. You got people smoking weed on the train. I've been on some train in the freaking car just smoking weed
in the subway.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I mean, the fact of the matter is, people. Here's the rule of thumb: if they're not smoking cigarettes there, obviously you can't smoke weed there either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to go by that kind of. There's some places you can smoke cigarettes. They still don't allow you to smoke weed. Like in the casino, you're still not really supposed to smoke weed in the casino. But I'm a monster. I just walk around.
The vape pens and all that shit kind of changed the game.
Yeah, but they'll even say no vapes now.
Right.
They'll even say no vapes. So it depends. But, my rule of thumb is if someone's smoking a cigarette there, then I could smoke.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to roll up anywhere.
Well, you're gonna play by your own rules anyway, man. I know you.
Well, that's
you're gonna go to the beat of your own drum.
The rules. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, don't get me wrong. I think the rules should be that, but I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna, the other day I was smoking, walking around Tropicana. Some dude said, "Oh shit, we're allowed to smoke in here." I said no, and then just kept walking.
But you just won't get caught because your vibe is to not get caught. Some people,
Yeah, and plus if I see
break
you, I'm
rules.
not gonna just smoke in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm on my P's and Q's. I'm looking to see if I see some sort of security. I don't want to get into nothing with security.
right?
You know,
You know,
nothing
I
like
saw
that.
the
It's not worth
episode
it.
when you got pulled over driving from Atlantic City back to the city, and you had some stuff on you, but you got away because
Dude, I'm telling
That
you,
was
a
the
lot of
snow roll.
it
smooth with it.
is.
You're smooth with it. You're
The other day we had the place was filled with cops. They had the police thing out here. So it was filled with cops. And I
The
said to
convention,
them,
right? The police convention.
Yeah, the convention. And before I ended the show, I said, yo, check it out. When I get pulled over, right? Because one of the dudes is from Lakewood. And I'm like, I'll be going in that direction all the time. I'll be out over there. So I said, yo, when I get pulled over, I shut off the car, pull over, lower all the windows. If it's at night, I turn on all the lights. I put my hands in the thing. I leave I leave my license on my lap and I don't move. And I put my keys in the top. I said, is that what I'm supposed to do? And the cop goes, well, we appreciate it when you do. I said, I knew it.
Exactly.
I fucking knew it.
People don't realize how easy cops are to play because they're so used to dealing with unruly people who don't want to play along that if you just put in the bare minimum or like you did, go a little bit above the bare minimum, they're like, look at that. See, this guy's being respectful. Dude, cops are so
But you know what it is?
easy
You're
to
looking out
play.
for their safety.
Yeah.
Because anyone who has Facebook or whatever knows that a traffic stop, the minute you get my attitude, the minute I get stopped at a traffic stop, it's a 50-50 chance I might die tonight. That's how I look at it. There's a 50-50 chance that this shit can go wrong.
Yeah.
So
Quick.
So, you know, the whole idea is about being safe because even playing cool, sometimes if you play it too cool, they think you're trying to get over on them.
Right.
I'm just being natural. You know what I'm saying? If I'm nervous, it's because I'm getting pulled over. I see videos, dog, but I'm trying to make it easy on you because I know you want to get home the same way I want to get home.
Right.
And you know what they said to me was it's a fact of you're looking out for their safety.
Right.
Because, and I did that without even realizing, but I just looked at like if I was a cop, what are the things you're worried about? You're pulling over a car. It's got tinted windows.
Yeah.
So right at the back, you can't see inside.
Yeah, you don't know
That's
what
a problem for me as a cop. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even if, you know, listen, even if I think I shouldn't have been pulled over.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I'm looking at the dude now who's pulling me over.
Right.
And as a cop, I can't see in that car. That's a problem. I don't know who's in that car.
Right.
So I roll down all the windows because I know even without tint, you still sometimes can't see through a window. Roll down all the windows. I turn on all the lights. I tell anybody in that fucking car, put your hands up on top of the fucking seat so they can see your hands because that's the next thing I'm worried about. Can I see their hands? You understand what I'm saying? Don't fidget. Don't move. It's simple things like that now they're not worried about that. Now they see in the car, it's only me. There's no one else in the car. They see my hands. Now their hand comes off their gun and comes up to me and starts talking to me.
Yeah.
Instead of walking up to me like, you know,
apprehensive.
Of course. And they have every right to fucking be.
Right.
The same way we see cops shooting people. You never seen a cop get shot in the face. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You never seen a cop stop in a car and they start shooting at him. You never seen that?
Yeah. Or drive into him or something.
And it's coming from a person, like I said, man, I've been on the criminal side of things, but part of being able to get through, like I was telling you, I'm retired. I retired. COVID retired me and I retired. And what got me through was I always understood, you know, where the aggression came from. You know, you got to remember, like I've been locked up a couple of times. And once you're in the cell, you're looking at, they had to deal with all these people that are in that cell. They're all lying. They're all, you know, some of them are just unruly. The ones that aren't unruly are constantly lying, constantly trying to get over. So, you know,
or just straight up mentally ill.
Right. You got to understand the game that you're
happened
playing.
To the
you know?
mental institute. We don't have those in New York anymore, right? Did they close those?
I
mean, I know Bellevue is open.
They still have them.
Bellevue's open.
They have. I know of at least one. There's one like kind of like next to the Southern State Parkway.
I know Bellevue's open because my family members have frequented there many occasions in and out, man. I got like a constant flow of family members that go in there, you know. So I know Bellevue is definitely still open over there on 30.
There's 97 hospitals with psychiatric.
So then
beds.
why are there so many like psychos on the street now? Because some of them, like a great majority of them, are just insane.
You can't do what you used to be able to do, which is just lock them up. You can't do that anymore. Like you could do it like 1900. It's just like lock them away at some camp. I don't
Well,
really do that much anymore.
I'm not saying to
do that.
lock them in a camp and let them just bump into each other.
I
saying-
recently heard Trump suggest something like that. Almost like a Native American reservation style. He's like, yeah, doesn't sound good to say, but he's like, we need to find a large acreage somewhere in the middle of someplace, and we need to bring these people there, and they'll sort it out. They'll sort
it out.
He's always funny. He's never not.
But the
funny.
truth is, there is something to that, man. I mean, get them away so that they're not harming regular people. I mean, it's hard stuff to say they might harm each other, but they're all in the same boat.
All right, let's make an agreement here, right? Nebraska, terrible state.
Yeah.
Nothing good to it at all. Especially the western half, away from all the cities. Just fence
I've
it
never
off.
been to
Yeah, there's
Nebraska
so
to
much
be able to make
there's
that
so much
assessment.
empty space in the United States. There's so much.
Yeah, like just make their own, make like Crazy Town.
Right.
Have like a place called Welcome to Crazy Town. And I'm not saying just let them. I'm not saying to just put them in like a containment where they're just
And
walking
literally
around.
call it Crazy Town.
Yeah, you call it Crazy Town, man. And you make it so cool that like regular people might want to visit every now and then.
TikTokers are going to show up like, let's get some content in Crazy Town.
And Welcome to Crazy Town. But I'm saying like you give them you put a lot of lights to attract them and keep them, you know what I'm saying? Like you figure out like different like neighborhoods could cater to different things.
like flies.
You know what I'm saying? Like flies. Like different sections, different neighborhoods could cater to whatever that psychosis is.
So we could have like the meth-induced psychosis camp over here, right? And then
and you could do, what it is? And that's the thing, you put the drug addicts there too, right? The drug addicts can get out. So listen, I happen to know a relative, I'm not going to get really deep into it, but a relative who was crazy until they put him into Bellevue. And they put him around real crazy motherfuckers. And he said, yo, I'm not this. You know what I'm saying?
See, that there is one of my biggest pet peeves. The fetishization everybody has on Instagram of like my mental health. I'm suffering from mental health issues. It's like, what are those mental health issues? Because there are
put him in Bellevue.
Yeah, a friend of mine, his mom is in a mental institution. She thinks that, like Elvis is like her dad and shit. That's genuinely crazy. But if you had a stressful week.
I'm talking motherfuckers controlling weather.
Right,
okay,
exactly.
I went to go visit with my mother, a relative, and she wanted to bring a Bible, and they wouldn't let it in because it was a hardcover Bible. And she was like, I don't understand. Why won't you let it? I said, Mom, because obviously one of these fucking people tried to murder someone with a hard-covered book.
Right.
The corner of a hardcover book ain't nothing but a hardcover book to a normal person. Right. To a fucking crazy person, a hardcover book is now a weapon. You got 4 in a book. You got 8 little different weapons there, man. 8 different weapons. They probably try to dig it in someone's head, and now you can only bring paperbacks.
Right.
And be happy they didn't get someone who really mastered the art of paper cuts, because then you wouldn't even be able to bring that shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Somebody paper cut up one of the nurses, just slices up the nurses with like mad paper cuts. And she's like, you think they're ever going to let paper books in there again? They're never going to do it. It's my mom calling me right now.
I love the ingenuity. I love that some of the most ingenuitive people are criminals.
Of course.
Like,
it's
I remember
insane.
I was watching this Vlad TV episode. This dude, he was like one of the top what do you call it when you make fake money? Counterfeiters.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that video, dude.
And he said he used Bible pages to make the fake money because he goes, that paper's so thin that he was able to it's like, there it goes again with the ingenuitiveness.
Dude, I saw a dude that sculpted fucking like horses being pulled by chariots out of soap bars.
Incredible.
Out of the fucking soap bars, and this dude is locked in jail.
That's Andy Dufresne shit right there.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane, man. These dudes managed to do all kinds of shit. They managed to fucking create fucking like letter systems where they could deliver mail to each. Like they're so able to figure shit out.
to legitimacy, they'd be for the bigger than Elon Musk.
You know, I remember when we had Chong on, he told a story about this dude who was shitting in the shower. Right? And the dude kept shitting in the shower and everyone was getting mad. And they were able to figure out through their detective skills who the person was. And it wound up, it was this dude that just couldn't use the same bathroom as black people. That's what it came down to. That's what it was. And so he would go into the shower and he would shit in the shower.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. And
it was a white guy who was just racist?
Yeah, white racist. He said it was a fear. He had no problem hanging out with them. He just couldn't.
He couldn't use the same toilet.
He couldn't use the same bathroom as them. I don't know. Yeah. He had no problem. It was some weird shit, right? But here's the thing. I said to him, man, that's amazing how they were able to like, and we got into the same conversation, how like, you know, like they were able to get together and figure out without hurting nobody, you know, who, and they got him moved, you know, they voted him out. They actually have votes and shit where it was either like gonna fuck him up or vote him out. You know what I'm saying? So they voted him into another pod or whatever, right?
Wow.
So I said, it's amazing how they're able to do that. And he said, you know what it is that when you don't have big problems, you know, the little problems become big ones. And then those little problems become big problems. So you get together to figure out those problems. And that's the thing that goes on in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're outside in the real world, there's all these problems. So it's like everything seems heavy on you. But for them, that was the only issue they had.
Gee, have you ever been institutionalized for like any extended period of time? Like when you went to jail, were you ever locked up for like more than like a couple of weeks or a couple days? Yeah.
Me? Nah, I never been to prison. And I've never been locked up more than my longest was like 52 hours.
Yes, the longest I ever did in a jail was like the same. Like maybe it wasn't 52. It was probably a little less than that. Maybe like 30 something. 40.
It was like 52, 53, something like that, and change. But that was enough for me to know that this isn't for nobody. Like being locked up is for nobody, man.
Mm-hmm.
I have one story. Anytime I meet somebody who's been to prison. And I used to work at a moving company. There were a lot of guys at that company who had done hard time. I knew this guy, Q. He'd done 10 years. Nicest guy in the world, by the way. Like sweetest, nicest dude ever. 10 years. I don't know what he did. 10 years.
Yeah.
He told me that he saw the Dominican guys. Get this. The Dominican guys on the yard. He saw them cut open a guy's penis, put a domino, like playing dominoes, in the guy's dick and sewed it up. But I think the way he described it, I believe that the man whose penis they cut open was like a willing participant. That was just something in the Dominican culture. I know, right? Yeah, that's my reaction too. When I first heard it, I was in pain.
That has to be like a metaphor for something.
I don't know, bro, but he wasn't the type to make up stories, this guy. He was kind of quiet.
Oh, my God. There were certain things you can go your whole life
without hearing.
That's one thing that this podcast has always been good for. Saying things that you could have went your whole entire life without even knowing.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But
you're gonna unhear that one.
No, you can't. Let me just get over this real quick for a second, because I do want to. Okay. I'm okay. I'm serious right now. I'm okay because I ate a little bit of mushrooms, so that one hit.
Oh, for real?
Domino dick. And now I heard that. I got it. All right. Here's the thing. I was talking to Jason after we did the show, and he shared with me a story of something that was very interesting, Brian, that happened to him out in Vegas. And he
changed my life.
Yeah, he says, yeah.
Changed.
So I want you to hear this story, and whoever's listening out there, feel free to comment. We'll bring up the comments over here because he's actually looking for some insight into this.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. Go ahead. Set the stage.
So basically, I'm at this hotel in Las Vegas for a film festival. I'm in my friend's movie. We went out there to accept some awards. There's a screening. Now, this hotel is an older one. A lot of the ones on the strip are kind of newer. This one is like old school Vegas, built in like the 40s or 50s or something. It's a little bit off the strip. It's called the Orleans Hotel and Casino. And it's like based off New Orleans, style or whatever. And so we're there and we have a little time to kill. So we get I guess you call it breakfast, lunch, whatever, at the TGI Fridays. And then I feel like I got to use the
Brunch is the
bathroom.
word that I'm glad you didn't use.
Right. Yeah. Because it wasn't brunch. It was just, it was our first meal.
It was no mimosas.
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly. Like I got a steak and mashed potatoes for my first meal of the day. So I don't know what you call that.
I do it all the time, actually.
Yeah.
I really do. That's
right.
Oh,
by the way, the steak was like this big. It was literally like 2 inches big. I was like, yeah, that's a good price for a steak. And then it shows up. It was like literally that big. It was like the meal was 90% mashed potatoes, this much steak. So anyways, so I'm eating my steak and mashed potatoes. And I feel in my tummy that I gotta go number 2. So I get up and I flag down a waitress and I'm like, hey, where's the bathroom? And she's like, oh, the bathroom, there's no bathroom in here. You got to go right across the casino floor. She goes, just look right across there. It's a straight shot. Boom. And I was telling Gary yesterday, I remember I'm real, like, I'm observant, you know, that's why I do impersonations. Mm-hmm. I'm observant. Like that's how I'm good at impressions. I'm conscious of like my surroundings. You know what I'm saying? So I remember every step I took, you know, I'm the Michael Jackson slot machine, the old chick with the cigarette that was like 15 inches long. Everything, I remember it. I go into the bathroom and like I said, I got not a numero uno, a numero 2. So I walk over to the stalls, which I enter all the way to the left. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like pull on door number 1, occupied, door number 2, occupied, door number 3, occupied, door number 4, occupied. So I'm like, all right, let me situation myself sort of against the wall to the left of the stalls and wait for one of the bathroom stalls to empty out. So I'm standing there.
I'm loving Brian's face right now because he has no idea where you're going with this.
Right.
And just watching the tension in his face is great.
So I'm standing there waiting to go do my business. Guy walks by. Once again, we're in Vegas, so everything's kind of weird. But this guy's like kind of weirdly tall, kind of hunched over, weird look on his face, like one of the crazies we were talking about. And he kind of like walks by, and I don't say anything, but in my body language, I'm like, dude, line. There's a line. I am the line. Like, what are we doing here? So he kind of walks past me, and in hindsight, I don't know if he saw me or not, but he walks past and then kind of situations himself to my left. So I'm like, all right, now we got a line. Okay. Then I noticed, man, I've been waiting here for like 2-3 minutes. Why is this dude directly across from me, kind of like in my peripheral? He's been at the urinal this whole time. Once again, weirdly tall, kind of hunched over. I'm like, okay. But once again,
using the urinal?
Yes. Now, once again, I'm talking about all these details like they're so profound, but at the time, I'm just living life. Okay. It's only in hindsight that I get it.
You're looking back at it now and realizing how weird shit actually was.
But I do remember thinking at the time, I'm like, damn, this motherfucker's been at that urinal. I've been waiting here 2-3 minutes. What that's weird, you know? So then I hear a flush at the far end. Seconds later, dude exits the stall, comes out, and I gotta say, I see him and I'm like, damn, that's a weird looking motherfucker. Like his presence kind of struck me. I'm like, whoa, God, that was, I got the EBGBs. And he kind of came out like almost like he in an L, like he just walks out and then turns
like he's
and
floating.
goes like that. Yeah, he's like da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And like a weird fucking L formation. So I go in there, I do my thing, I come out, wash my hands, and I go back to the restaurant. And my stomach was a little upset. You know, I'm on vacation. I'm out eating whole pizzas and fried chicken and In-N-Out burgers. So I'm like, ooh, I gotta go again. So maybe 10 minutes later, I go back to the same bathroom, take the same route, walk past the Michael Jackson slot machine, that same old lady smoking, 15-inch long cigarettes and all the same stuff, all the same stuff, all the same landmarks that I walk past. And I walk in there, and what I'll say this is, and I told Gary yesterday, I didn't fully realize what I was witnessing, but the way I describe it is like if you have a file loading on the computer and it's like 1% downloaded, 1% of the reality of the situation downloaded in my mind on some level. I'm like, that's odd, but not even fully that's odd. Just like, it was like 1%. So I go in the store, I do my thing, I come out, I wash my hands, I go back to the table. We end our meal, pay the bill. Now we still got a little more time to kill. So my buddy is like obsessively at the slot machine. So we're still in that area. right outside the restaurant, in between there and the bathroom, a bunch of slot machines and tables and everything. And my friend is, sitting there drinking and pressing the button. I'm trying to have like a real conversation with him. He's not listening. He's just gamble. So maybe like 20, 30 minutes later, I have to pee now, So I go back to that same bathroom and I go in the stall. Oh, wait. Hang on.
You're good.
I just had a phone call come through. Okay, there we are. So I go back in the same bathroom. Let me put my phone on airplane mode.
I just noticed your Caitlin for California hat.
Oh, yeah. I love this hat.
So you go back in. You go back in
I
the
go back
pee.
in the bathroom. And once again, same bathroom. And I go in the stall again to pee. Because I don't like, I was telling Gary, I don't like to pee in the urinal.
Dude, I'm right there with you. I've told Gary this on the podcast.
I've had
this argument. I've had this argument. Some people are like,
thing.
no, a real man uses the urinal. I'm like, why though? Why? What's your reasoning?
I'll use it if I have to, but if there's an open thing, I'll take it.
If there's an open stall, you got privacy. You don't have a bunch of dicks just flying around. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And plus, also, forget there were no other dicks. I don't know whoever invented the urinal, but pee always like gets splashed on you. And then you got a million other pisses, and it's just disgusting. I prefer the stall. So anyways, I pee in the stall. I leave the stall. I wash my hands, and I'm going to walk out the bathroom. And I'm like maybe 3 or 4 steps away from the exit. And I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. This is my 3rd time at this bathroom. Something ain't right here. I turn around, and as I'm telling this, every time I tell this story, I've told it like 100,000 times between now and when this happened in late October. I get chills all up and down my spine every time I tell it. I turn around. The whole layout of the bathroom flipped on me. Okay? I told you, I walk in, the stalls were to the left. I'm against that wall. The bathroom stalls are now on the right-hand side, up against that wall where I was standing waiting to use the stall. Where I said, I distinctly remember the man across from me standing at the urinal for like 2-3 minutes. That's all sinks now. People are washing their hands over there. Where the sinks were, to the left of where I was standing when I was waiting for the stall, those are all urinals. People are peeing over there. And I'm like, what? So now I exit the bathroom, and I'm like, there's got to be a mistake. Has to be a mistake. I had to be mistaken. Maybe there's another men's bathroom, but I just look, women's bathroom, men's bathroom. So I'm like, okay, let me walk the whole perimeter. I have to be mistaken. This is impossible. I walk around the whole thing, no other bathroom. I flag down some poker chick. I'm like, hey, is there any other men's bathroom in this area? She's like, no, you have to go all the way around the other side, about like 2 miles that way to find another bathroom. So I walk back in there one more time, and then I got this like feeling in me where I'm like, oh my God. It was like, the only way I could describe it is like, boy, I could just tell there was something like some weird portal or some shit. I'm like, I get out, and I'm like, I'm never entering that bathroom ever again. So, so now I'm like, what the hell? And like, I don't know, an hour later, the movie is premiered. Now I'm sitting in the audience. I'm up on the big screen. I'm not thinking about that movie. I'm going over my head 1,000 times. Wait, I went every detail. I'm like, it has to be another bathroom. I had to make a mistake. That can't be the same. But every time I go through I'm like, no, this is very basic. The TGI Fridays is here. The bathroom's right there. But the first time was like this. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm getting chills now. Once again, just going through this. And now I have to pee in the movie theater. I didn't even tell Gary this part. So now I got to go back to the bathroom. It's like an empty theater. The only theater that had anything going on was the theater we were in. It was dark, and I'm like scared. I'm like on my tippy toes, and I'm like, there's a bathroom, and I'm like literally like creeping around the wall. I'm scared to death. I'm like, if I go in there, am I ever gonna come out? Am I gonna get sucked into it? But I'm like, but I really have to pee. So I go in and I peed real quick, and I ran out. And I'm like, oh my God, it was frightening to me to walk into a public restroom.
So Brian, what do you make of that, Brian?
All right, so there was a couple things that were going through my head, right? At first, my assumption was that you were just going into the bathroom where people were doing meth. That was my first thought. Is that people were just getting high in that bathroom.
That would have been so much better. That would have been at least explainable.
Casino bathrooms are known for that, you know. I've done a lot of crystal meth in casino bathrooms. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's what I thought was going on.
That's pretty cool.
All right, so there you go.
And
Now, people, in case you were ever wondering, just like the reason why they don't allow hard-covered books, that's the reason why the casinos have people walking in there and pushing on the doors every now and then to make sure no one's in there doing meth. See, there's always a reason. They're not just there.
Well, no. They're just there to make sure you didn't OD, bro.
Yeah, just to make sure
they're not there to make sure you didn't do it. They're there to make sure you didn't OD.
Yeah, I remember I went into one of the bathrooms. Somebody's legs were hanging out like fucking Dorothy, like the Dorothy just landed a house on her.
Really?
Or the witch? I think it was the witch. That
it was the witch. Yeah, like Dorothy landed the house right onto because Dorothy was in the house that landed on the witch, and your legs were popping out.
Yeah. So, but then when you say flipped, my first thought would be that you were in the other gender bathroom, that you went in the wrong one at first, twice. But then you're saying there were urinals, both the first and second time.
Because I asked him, and he said there were urinals.
Not just urinals and other men.
Yeah,
both times.
Yeah, because I made the same comment when he told me. I said maybe you went into the women's, and he goes, you know, there were urinals and there were men.
Yeah,
creepy men.
Yes.
Now I got a question.
Especially the guy who came out of the stall, man.
Now the second and third time you went, were there any creepy figures in it that time, or the first time you went was with all the creepy figures?
The first time I went was all the creepy figures. Second and third time I didn't even. Not only were they not creepy, I don't recall anything. I just went in and I did my thing. And if I hadn't been back you know what's crazy, Gary, is if I hadn't been back that third time, I never would have processed that it changed the second time. It took me to the third time to notice that it changed.
What do you make of that, Brian?
Dude, I don't know. I really.
I'll tell you guys this. I'll give you some context.
Now, here's the thing. I believe him. I don't think he's bugging out. Like, I believe him.
And I took it so serious that I thought, okay, do I have to go? We were talking about mental hospitals. Do I have to go get myself checked in? Like, am I?
No, I mean, I think if anything, bro, you got to go back. Like, you got to go back to Vegas and see what the fuck's going on. That's what you have to do.
What was the name?
Bro.
Do you know the name of the casino?
Yeah, the Orleans. Yeah, he said he was there.
The Orleans.
Yo, look it up. Look up the history on there real quick, man. Let's see what it says about if there's any history on
George Carlin. Shit. George Carlin did his very last performance ever there.
That's fucking interesting, man. But here's the thing: even if it is a mental thing, you're not that.
Right.
Like, so go checking yourself in, because I'm telling you right now, dude. Yeah. Like even if it was a thing of with the mind,
but it wasn't.
I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, you know,
it wasn't because
you know,
yeah, you know. And I was telling you,
but I'm just saying, don't ever check yourself in.
Yeah, no. For 2 weeks, I couldn't sleep without the light on.
Shitting in their hands.
Yeah,
that you're not that.
For 2 weeks, I couldn't sleep without the light on. Because you know what happens is you tell yourself, okay, I could sleep without the light on. So you initially turn the light off. But then you start to think about what happened. Then thinking about what happened turns into your mind starts playing tricks. You're like, if that happened, now is somebody going to come out of the wall? Is there something under the bed?
The wall going to be like this right over the top of you?
Right, now the light's on. And it took me about 2 weeks to get over that. But then it kind of came back a month later. That it kind of still goes in and out. But what I'll say is this. I'll say a couple things. 3 things. The first thing is I obviously did a lot of Googling after this. A lot of Googling. I'm like, somebody has to have an answer out there. Somebody has to have experienced something. And I found a YouTube channel called, what was it? Paranormal Rising. That was the first thing. You know how they say it's like help groups or whatever, where you find other people who have similar experiences? That was the first thing that made me feel a lot better, because it's a majillion stories just like mine. Not the specific details, but different, like stories exactly like mine, like shit that's unexplainable, that makes absolutely no sense. Like there was one where these 2 kids were out somewhere in middle America. It's 3 PM in the summertime, like July. And then all of a sudden, it just got dark. It's 3 PM and it got dark. But they didn't think much of it because you don't think much of it when these things happen because you don't think that impossible things can happen, but impossible things can happen. So then they got out of, they were like in like a corn maze, and then some guy just showed up and he was like, well, I'm here to protect you guys. You're not supposed to be here. Let's get out of here. So then they follow this guy. Then they go home and they tell their dad about it. And their dad's like, wait, what? Let's find this guy. Who the hell was this? So they go back outside and it's sunny again. It's like daytime again because that's what it was. And then there was one where a guy worked at Burger King. And once again, weird looking person came in, ordered a burger and fries or whatever, came back 30 minutes later, ordered the same thing. And he's like, really? Same thing? The guy was like, what are you talking about? He's like, weren't you just here? He's like, no. So then he says to the cook girl, he's like, isn't that weird that same guy was here twice? She's like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, what? And then he's like, did I just imagine all that? So now the next day he's like, or a couple days later, he's like, can we look at the security footage? And he was just there texting that whole time. He imagined that. There was one where a couple were on the couch watching a movie, eating popcorn. And then they both, this is two people once again, experiencing the same thing. Just now they're sitting on the corner of the bed. They go from sitting on the couch, eating popcorn, watching a movie, to now they're both sitting on the edge of the bed and it's 3 a.m. So they time skipped. And,
glitch in the Matrix, Brian.
There's a couple things that I'm thinking about. Like the glitch in the Matrix is one, but the other thing that I think there obviously is different levels of existence within our reality, right?
Yeah.
And
be careful whatever bullshit you're gonna throw at us right now, Brian, because I'm gonna call you on all of it. All right, I'm just letting you know. Don't think I'm not listening.
I actually have a video. I actually have a video that I want to show about a fox in a second. But the first point I want to make is, now I'm not sure who this guy is. I got to do a little bit more research about this. But someone who wrote a book about simulation theory, I believe, uses the example like this, right? Like a dog can hear way more sounds than we can, right?
correct.
So we say.
So yeah, so we say. So
no dogs ever told me.
Their reality is different than ours because they can hear more sounds. So are they living in a different reality? And then it also talks to a point that the reality that we perceive is only what we need to perceive to stay alive, right? So a dog doesn't see in color because it doesn't need to see in color to stay alive.
And
because
Brian,
it can hear, it can smell, it can.
And Brian, let me tell you this because I mentioned it to Gary yesterday. Earlier that morning, I was really deep in thought. Like I was just, once again, want to talk about being in another zone? I was already in another zone. I was in another zone at the restaurant. I was just I was not. That's why I said I was trying to make small talk with my buddy who was
air travel does that shit to me, bro. That
Yes.
always happens to me when I'm on trips.
Yeah.
It's the air travel does something weird to me, man. I know it does.
I was already on another plane, and I remember thinking about everything you're talking about. This is prior to this crazy-ish happening. I was thinking about the Matrix and the simulation and all this stuff, and I already believed in all this stuff. Already wholeheartedly believed, just like you're saying. I believe in everything. I believe everything. Everything. Just quote Cat Williams.
So it's actually Big Mike. You're saying you believe it's Big Mike.
I believe in everything. No, but I'm sitting there and I remember distinctly thinking, and once again, now when I say it, it carries weight, but at the time it was just a throwaway thought. And I remember thinking, gosh, I believe in all this crap, the Matrix and all this stuff, but I said, but I've never, and this was an actual thought that I had that morning prior to all this happening, but I said, I've never been like knocked over the head like, hey, this is it. Crazy town, Matrix, this is it. I said, I believe in all of it with all my heart. But I thought to myself, but it's never exposed itself to me, so to speak. And then, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes later, all this goes down.
It's pretty fucking weird, man. I mean, I'm with you. I feel like I know inside.
Okay.
That's something out there of whether it's, we're in a matrix or there's other dimensions or there's other beings. But I 100% know that what we're living in isn't it. And
right.
I've been on crazy psychedelic trips. Right. I've been on very, very deep psychotic, schizophrenic episodes induced by drugs also. Yeah. And at the same point, you go to these other places right. and you're like,
Correct.
The world we live in isn't it, because I've seen what else is out there, right? And then now you have to start thinking about how your brain works, right?
Right. A few other details. Real world, just facts. Prior to me going to Las Vegas, like 4 or 5 people hit me up on Instagram. Hey, you gonna be in Vegas anytime soon?
Not even like his people, like
randomly
followers and shit.
Followers of mine. Like not random people, but followers of mine. You gonna be in Vegas? Like, and I'm like, what are the chances that like 4 or 5 people are all hitting me up? Are you gonna be in Vegas? Then another thing, when I was there, after that night, I took a Uber and I shared my story with the Uber driver, and then he told me his story about how he saw this black thing in the corner of the room. And then years ago, and then he said it took him 2 years later. He drew it and described it, and then he was with some person in the church, like some level of.
Yo, what was it? What was the shape? Because I've seen a shape, bro.
It was a black. It was like a black. He described like a black, and then he Googled it and showed me this thing, and he said he was speaking to somebody in the church, like a priest or something, or a bishop or something, and they were like, "That is." There was a word for it, and he Googled it, and he showed me, and it's like it's an angel, and it's like people think angels are like Christmas decorations with nice white light, but he's like, nah, dude, it's like looks fucking scary and frightening and shit. So and then every other cab I took, just weird conversation. The guy was like, I just get in. The guy's like, so you ever have any ghost stories? You ever do it? Like everything was paranormal. Everything on that trip was paranormal, and then.
The thing about Vegas too, bro, is it's very close to Area 51, and that airport that they have there, they run a private like jet out to that.
After all the Googling I did, Vegas is like the biggest hotspot for haunted stuff. And Gary also mentioned that to me yesterday. And also, you know, another crazy thing, I'm back in New York. This is maybe 2 months later, and I meet a guy who is I meet him through the guy who got me the ReAwaken America thing at Trump Doral. And he's a clinical therapist, psychologist. And I tell him the story, and he goes, well, first off, that's already strange. He goes, because I was just at the Orleans Hotel 2 days ago. And he goes, and that's way off the strip. He goes, so that's just a weird detail too. And then he tells me I had an incident like that, like yours, except even crazier. Back in the late 90s, he goes that I needed, he says, years of therapy to get over, but he didn't tell me any details. And then I also had a friend who is the most cynical guy maybe ever. Like, I remember, like, I always bring up taboo subjects. I always like to make people feel uncomfortable. I remember, like, a year ago, I start bringing up God, and he's like, oh, God, I get real uncomfortable with God. I can't handle when anybody brings up, like, God. So he tells me, I tell him the story I just told you guys. And he was way more perceptive than I would have imagined, being how cynical he is about everything. And he was like really kind of hanging on the edge of every word. And he's like, yeah, I kind of had an incident too like that. And I was like, do tell. And he wasn't even excited to tell. Like, I'm excited to share this story with you guys. He was like kind of really apprehensive. He didn't even want to talk about it. But I kind of coaxed him into giving it up. And he said that it was the day he got the vaccine, because he's a vaccine person. And he went to this guy, Glenn Cohen's house. And he says he took like a crazy amount of edible. And then he had to drive back to Queens. And he said he drove through the tunnel. And he said the first thing he said is when he was driving through the tunnel, he got this image, this idea that his brother had died. So he started bawling, crying, uncontrollably crying. He gets out of the tunnel. He has to pull over to compose himself. Then he gets to his apartment in like Bushwick, I think it was. And then he said, basically, all of a sudden, all the people disappeared. All the people on the street disappeared. And it was just him on the street. And he said he remembers walking around. He's like, hello. And like the whole etymology, kind of like if you're on shrooms or something, you have your environment completely looks different. So he says it all looked like a video game. And he said he remembers seeing every car. He could see like inside the car. He could see all the mechanics of like how the car was built. And he said it just looked like a video game. Like it was all like computer programming, like a hologram or something. So then he says that his building became like it was still his building, but it was all glass and it looked red behind, like a fire was burning behind it. And then he said that he could feel his wife's presence on the other side of the wall. But he said the door was there, but it didn't look normal. Like it was like a completely fortified, like there was no way he could get through. So then he said, and then he starts to become choked up. His eyes are watering. And once again, this guy, he doesn't have he's not
not that kind of guy. Yeah.
Not that kind of guy. So he starts to get choked up. I see some waterworks in his eyes, and I'm like, damn. And he goes, and he realized in that moment that wherever he was not normal life. And he's like, I got to get back. And he said, somehow he realized that the only way to get back was to, I guess, show his wife, like to feel like he loved his wife or whatever. And he said that the only way that he could express that was to like get on his hands and knees and start screaming. And just start screaming and screaming and screaming.
Well, that's better than what I thought you was gonna say. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna say he's gonna start jerking his dick and bust a nut. And then,
Could you
I was
imagine?
about to say, whoa. I don't know. I'm not even gonna lie. I thought that's what you were gonna say. That goes to show you how fucked up my brain is.
Hey, everything's fucked up. So he gets on his hands and knees and he's screaming. And then he sees a guy standing there just looking at him. And the guy is like kind of sitting on almost like he said like a throne. And the guy just goes, you good? You good? And I guess he said in that moment, he realized that if he told that guy that he was good, but actually meant it, that he'd be allowed back. So he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And then boom, he's back on the street. There's people all around again. And he's back in reality. And
I mean, that could have just as easily have been the edibles.
Exactly. So I agree. So, you know, in that case,
that one's a little different.
Yeah, that one's a little different.
That one's a little more explainable,
right?
Because you know there was the because edibles, depending on how much you eat, can. I've never had a trip like that, man. I mean, shit, I've been getting gypped.
Hey, I've definitely had hallucinations on edibles. I've seen faces change. I've seen, you know, my girl's face become like a million different faces.
Change face, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
See, but I believe when you're on like those things, what you actually see is the inner person.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you see a person whose face keeps changing, it's because you're seeing that in themselves. There's this sort of
duality or whatever.
Well, it's to me, it's more like of like not knowing yourself really, being like all these different people. You're not at harmony.
Right.
There's no harmony in there. It's not doesn't mean they're a good or a bad person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It just there's no harmony.
Yeah.
You know, and then people who are evil, you'll be talking to them and you'll just see their faces. We spoke about this. You'll see their faces kind of like take on this aura where you're like, yo.
Yeah. I've seen it.
This is a piece of shit.
Yeah, I've seen it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like you're looking at them, you're like, I know this person all my life, and I'm looking at them in such a different light right now. This person is a piece of shit. Right. And then you get the people that glow.
Yeah. That
you look at them and they're just radiating.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, I think that's like the continence of a person that you can see when you're on you know, edibles and shit like that.
Right.
Like I took some polka dots. I was bugging out for a second because I forgot I took them, and everything as I was speaking just went. And then the white on your wall, that shit is fucking with me. I'm not gonna lie, but that's your spot now that you're in, huh?
Yeah, this is my new place. Yeah. Scoop. I just moved to San Francisco with my girl.
Oh, San Fran.
Yeah, we're out here. So this is our new spot. We don't have any of our furniture. It's coming in tomorrow, but that's gonna be.
You've been all over now because you were in Florida, right?
Yeah. Then I moved to Atlanta briefly, and then we moved out here.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Barbecue ribs, nice.
Dude, it's not good. The food's not good there.
The best barbecue I ever had was in Austin, Texas. And it knocked me out for like 24 hours. I was asleep for 24 hours after I had barbecue.
Where was it at? What spot?
I forget the name, but it was like cafeteria style. Like you're in line and then you have a tray and you just go down and then you pay for it and you sit at your table. And it was
actually, I think that's the way mine was too. In Austin, Texas, it was a really good barbecue. It was like known. Like they told us you got to go to this spot.
It was like
on this little like I think it was like on like a hill or some shit. It was weird. I don't know. It's hard for me to remember shit. I'm always fucked up.
Yeah, that's all right.
I remember things in spurts.
There used to be this place called the Georgia Pig that I used to go to. Here it is.
Yeah, I could barely remember, like Gary, the barbecue that I had in Georgia, because at that point I was gone. I was plastered. I'd had like fucking 45 White Claws.
But yo, I also don't want to get off of what we were talking about before though. So what do you think it is, Brian? I think it's some spiritual shit personally.
Yeah. So
and bring back up the comment. Who made that comment just before?
That was my boy John.
Oh, John Brown. Big up to you, John Brown, for even commenting. And we are definitely not the only ones in the universe. See, here's the thing, though. We're not.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I've ruled out a couple.
What are like when you say we're not the only things in the universe, are you talking there are aliens out there? Because I personally don't believe there's aliens out there.
I don't believe there's aliens either. I don't believe there's aliens either.
When I talk about other beings, I'm talking about spiritual beings. Like you were just talking about angels. Angels aren't these little fluffy things. Whenever you hear about people seeing angels, the first thing they do is fall to their knees.
Well, I had an epiphany a couple weeks ago.
And demons. I believe those things are out there, man.
Yeah, I had an epiphany a few weeks ago. I was thinking about this as like kind of separate. I'm like, is it God or is it the simulation or is it something? And then I had an epiphany. I was like, wait, no. God is the author of everything. So I was like, it's God related. It's not anything else because everything is God. So therefore, I don't put the onus on anything else.
Exactly. So, but you want to know what I just found interesting? Because when you were telling me the story yesterday, right when he started telling me the story, I said it had a very shining kind of feel to it. Yeah. Right. And
like the
I find that very interesting because you said it was a New Orleans kind of place.
Yes. The whole layout, the whole design.
And I'm having like this is just popping in my head right now. When we first started doing shows at Showboat.
Yeah.
Right. Showboat is
New Orleans,
basically
New Orleans style.
Theme.
Yeah, Riverboat.
And I remember when we were doing shows that always remind me of The Shining, because when we started doing it, nothing else was open. Like they didn't have it the way it's hooked up right now. So it was basically an empty hotel. It was just a hotel.
Yeah.
So like
which
the
is
casino
extremely creepy.
Was all and then I remember every time I go to my room, I'd be waiting to see two little girls saying, "Would you play with me?" or some little boy, right? And I even used to make jokes. Anybody else feel like they're gonna see two little twins in the fucking corner? Because it was very shining. There was a very weird feeling, and I find that the reason why I say that is I find it odd because that was New Orleans kind of themed, the pictures and everything, and then where you were was very New Orleans themed. I mean, I know there's a very spiritual thing when it comes to that. There's a lot of old school kind of voodoo and shit like that out there.
Yeah,
right?
when I was
black
in,
magic
when I was
and
in,
white magic and all that shit.
Yeah, when I was in New Orleans, there were all these things about voodoo, witches, black magic.
It's a very spiritual place.
Yeah,
a lot of spiritualism shit going on there, man. So I find it, it's like even when you just said when you got back, I was gonna ask you if anything weird, because
you were
it put me in the thought of like the Brady Bunch, when they went to that place and Bobby brought back like a piece from that place. And then shit was fucking with them. You have to be very careful.
Stuff like that. People would go to Africa and buy some fucking thing in a gift shop, and they bring it back, and then everything was fucked up.
But there's truth to that shit.
You were saying something beginning of the episode. I can't remember what it was about. It was about negativity. Gary, do you remember that video you sent me? It was like 7 or 8 minutes long, and that one guy was talking about how everything in our society now is a negative term. Like even our good terms are associated with negativity. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And then the guy went further into something about the English language, which I feel like kind of relates to what you sent it to me, and then I sent it back to you
first, and then you sent me this other shit today about that, where I was saying how like the English language is basically spells.
Yeah.
It's
called spelling.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Curses.
Yeah. Curse words. And no other language really has that. They don't call it spelling in other languages. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a witchcraft term, and basically when they write these laws and when they write these things on paper that people just see it written on paper, now we follow it. Why? Because you wrote it on a piece of paper and you spelled it, and now we're like under that spell. You know what I'm saying? So that's like some interesting shit there too. But yeah, I mean, like I said, man, there's a lot of spiritual things going on in this world constantly. And
1000%.
I think that's kind of what you got caught in. Even like you said, even if it's a matrix thing, someone that's created that, and
Right.
we do know the creator is, so it comes down to like, yeah, I think that shit is crazy. It makes me feel weird inside. I had weird experiences in that place, and that place is like themed fucking. Yeah, I don't know, man. And even when I went to New Orleans, like I went there, it's a great place. The food was delicious, man. It was great, but it was a little too. I never felt comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
Yeah,
LA.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
that. I feel like that in LA also.
Well, yeah, LA
know?
is gonna be LA. Forget about it, dude. That's like, it's like the #1 place for like Satan worship. You know what I'm saying? Forget about
So
like
true.
them motherfuckers right there be like worshiping him. It's not
Right.
even Satanism. It's that next level of like we worship him.
Right.
Because true Satanism is the worship of self.
Right. Yeah.
It's not the worship of Satan.
Yeah. We're connecting all these dots, and but yeah, I would recommend to you guys and anybody in the audience, look up that channel on YouTube, Paranormal Rising.
Liz, what's going on, girl? Shout out to you. Thank you for checking it out. Much love to you as well. Yeah, dude. I when you told me that the hairs on my arms were just rising, man, it's like, And I asked you, did you go back? Did you go back to the place?
To the bathroom?
Yeah, to that bathroom. You said you went back.
Well, I went in that one other time, and I felt it in my soul. Like I just felt, I'm like, oh my God. Like I felt like I was.
It never went back to the way it was the first time.
It never went back to the way.
That's where I think it was. I think when you walked in there the first time was when you stepped into something.
Yeah.
That's when you stepped into something. Even the fact that, like you said, that you're able to
I'm telling you what's good.
Shout out to Tony P Comedy.
My guy.
When you first walked in there, that's when you walked into something. That was something going on, because that's where you said you would know, like you actually took notice of the people around you, and everyone around you was fucking weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Tony,
also realized the reason why I was fixated, the reason why I think in hindsight that I was fixated on the guy at the urinal is because I was supposed to see the urinal. Because if I didn't focus on the urinal, I never would have realized after the fact that shit had been changed around. And also,
now, were you going through anything at this point that you think there could have been some sort of reason for you to see some of this shit? And also, what did your boys do at the restaurant?
Not really. I was just deeper in thought that morning. I was already on another plane. I could tell you, I entered that bathroom already on another plane. Yeah, I was just.
What did your buddy say about it? Were you gone an abnormally long time?
Did you say anything? Yeah, when you came out, did you say anything to the people you were with?
I told him. He was kind of dismissive. I mean, my buddy's a former preacher. He was like a Christian preacher out in Ohio, so he's not a stranger to like belief in different, things, but the whole time was I don't know what his belief system
Were you drunk or anything too? Were you under the influence of anything?
No, 100. I was 1,000,000,000% sober.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am not. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm looking at Jason right now, and the green screen has been changing different tones of green. Depending on the conversation we're having, it gets darker.
Well, I always I always get weirded out when I go on trips, right? And whenever
Brian, you look like you're in heaven.
Yeah, well, I'm
it's all white. You're either in heaven, or I'm waiting for P. Diddy to come through the back door. What's going on there, Scoop?
No, I'm just thinking about what you said a few minutes ago about seeing people's faces, because my friend that I was with in Las Vegas, I was with him again back in New York, and I met with him and his wife at a restaurant, and I hope he doesn't see this, because so I'm sitting there at the table, and his wife wanted to go get Christmas gifts, but he was drinking wine, and she got mad at him. She was like, I have plans today, but you keep sucking down these wines. And then I shortly thereafter left because I had business to handle, but I left. And I remember thinking I was kind of saddened to see the fact the two of them not getting along in that way. And then what you said, Gary, about noticing people's faces, I don't know if my friend is like a trigger, but I was walking. I had to walk like 20 blocks to Party City because I need to go to Party City for something. And
get some balloons.
I remember once again,
your household balloons.
Once again, feeling like that same feeling that I felt prior to entering the bathroom in Vegas, where I felt like I was just on another like thinking playing field. And I remember looking at everybody and like really seeing everybody's essence. Like, but I felt like I was looking at them like an animal in the zoo. Like I was an animal and I was looking at humans because where I was someplace different. And then I remember most people just look whatever, fine. So a lot of people looked like complete NPCs. And then some people looked a little more present. But then the evil, I saw one guy, dude, he literally looked like the fucking Joker. I saw one guy standing outside of a place smoking a cigarette. He literally looked like fucking evil incarnate, demonic Satan. He was just like, I was like, whoa. Let me get
that sucks. Imagine he's like a really sweet guy.
No.
Imagine being like a really sweet guy with just a real demonic face.
No chance. Can you imagine?
Hey, can I help you? You look like you're a little down on your luck. Here's $1,000. And motherfucker, that'd be fucked up. Yo, imagine that. You just fucking the nicest guy who ever lived, and you got a fucking demonic face.
Yeah. It'd be
so I got a couple of San Francisco stories for you guys. So the first one is I move into this place yesterday, right? And we have to move from our old Airbnb to our new Airbnb, to our new rental unit. It's only a block away. So my girl gets her car and pulls it up in front of the old place so we can just shovel everything in, right? So I bring the first load out to the car. I throw it in the trunk. I put the shit in there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, God, it smells like dog shit.
Uh-oh. We all know where this is going.
Mind you, I have a pair of Ultra Boosts, which are like $180 sneakers on, right?
The story just got better.
They're not new. They're a little beat, so it's okay. So I look under my right shoe, all in the middle of it, all up in there. So now I'm in the middle of the street, right? And it's like 11 a.m.
Yo, you had the boots with like the deep crevice type shits?
Deep here.
Yo, that is the fucking worst.
These are the white ones. It was in here, bro. It was all in here, all in this piece, right?
Damn. Right. And you know that was human poop, bro. That wasn't no dog.
I'm not gonna lie. I smelled it. I smelled it. I smelled it, and it was definitely dog. All right.
You think so?
Whatever it takes to get to sleep, dog. Whatever gets your foot back in the sneakers.
So San Fran has a reputation when it comes to poop on the street. That's all I'm saying.
So
Tucker
Carlson
Carlson
have dogs that big, dog.
So as
from Tucker Carlson,
as my blood is boiling, I'm like, you know, I'm looking at my right shoe. I'm like, you know, I'm holding it up. I got it back here. I'm looking at it, and then I'm like, oh, fuck. And then I look at my left shoe, all over the left shoe.
What were you dancing in it?
No, bro.
Was you stepping, dude? How big was the mound that both your feet got in it?
I think there was
Who the
two.
Fuck gets both their feet and shit, yo.
He was doing that Spanish, that bachata.
He said, fuck.
So then I
slipping his feet in that shit.
So I noticed.
Who am I bugging out though? Wait a minute. Am I bugging out that is odd that both feet step in shit?
It is odd.
Have you ever had both? Have you ever said someone stepped in shit and you look down and it's on both your feet?
Twice.
Nah, never.
Dude, what did you step into? It sounds like you were dancing in that shit, yo. Literally.
So then I lose it. I absolutely lose it in the street. And I'm just
As you should.
Fucking piece of shit city. I said, none of these fucking liberals can pick up their goddamn dog shit. I said, everyone wants to have a fucking dog in their apartment and they want to take it outside and they can't get a goddamn plastic bag. You know why? Because there's no goddamn plastic bags in a fucking goddamn city. That's why.
No one's picking up the shit because they ain't got plastic bags.
It costs too much money. That's why.
That's funny. You had a Republican breakdown. You're not even Republican.
I lost it, dude. Absolutely lost it. So then my day gets better. Here's
So
the
wait a
second.
minute. What'd you do with the shoes?
Oh, immediately I ripped them off my feet and threw them into the sidewalk. I just tossed them, dude. And then I walked in barefoot. And then I took my girl's car and then backed it up.
Shit on your way in?
No, bro. I got in it.
Did you find the culprit? Like, did you find where you stepped in the shit?
Here's the thing, right?
And was it like 2 footprints on top of each other? Or was it like...
There's a 50-50 shot that the shit is from my dog. You know, that's all I'm saying. Because I smelled it, bro, and I know what Boots' shit smells like. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying it's like 50-50. It was close. It was close.
You know that shit ain't 50-50, dog. That shit is like fucking 95% chance. That shit is Boots' fucking shit.
It's a humbling experience.
Your own dog shit. You know that's your own dog shit, yo. Oh man.
I guess I should.
You cursed all liberals because you fucking stepped in your own dog shit. The whole town's like, I wonder who's not picking up this shit.
At least he didn't blame the Jews. That's what Kanye would have done. That's what I would have done. No, I'm kidding. It's usually my go-to. No, I'm kidding. I kid.
Oh God.
All right, so then
I'm in tears. Hold on, man. Woo, let me just fucking woo. That shit hurt my back. You just made me pull something, yo.
So
oh my God.
So my day does get better, right? So my day gets better. The move goes.
Oh, dude.
The move goes well. Right.
Because I had this picture of you in my head, like the chick from I Know What You Did Last Summer. You know when she's in a circle screaming like, "What are you waiting for?" I kind of see you out there, you fucking liberals, spinning in a circle.
Dude, just imagine I was
Jewish neighbor screaming in a circle.
I'm like, I want to go back to fucking Jersey. At least there's not dog shit everywhere.
It is. You just can't tell.
Yeah.
You can't tell where the shit ends and the dirt begins.
And so then
the problem is there's too much dirt out there, so you know where the shit is.
So,
I can't believe you stepped in it twice.
Well, I changed my dog's food. You know, I had him on one type of kibble and then to another one.
What does that have to do with you stepping?
I think he might
be the luckiest man. You're either about to be the luckiest man or just the unluckiest man in the world that you stepped in dog shit with two different. You didn't even step in it twice with the same foot. You stepped in it 2 different times and didn't even realize it. You didn't even slip. You didn't get like the feeling of the texture change. Because you're saying it's gooped in there, which means like you flattened a mound. You didn't just like, you know.
I got right in there, man. Yeah, smush.
And you didn't even feel no slip, no nothing.
No pull, nothing.
It's probably because you were so into like the moving thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta be honest, Brian, you look like that dude that moves. You look like that dude in Brooklyn with a U-Haul in front of the fucking brownstone, loading his computer chair, his fucking desk.
That's so funny because I agree with you. I don't even know why I agree, but it's
right.
true.
He just
Looking
looks
at him,
like that's the dude you see
Hey, we got to get these boxes in right now, you know?
moving in and moving out. Either moving in or moving out somewhere all the time.
That's me. It's my lifestyle. So after the move, right? After the poop, after the move, we get sandwiches. We order sandwiches from a place, you know, in one of these neighborhoods. So I drive down, and
Did you ever get back? Did you ever go back and get your shoes?
No, I threw them
Or you
away.
just threw 'em in
I
the
tossed
street?
them. No, I threw them in the trash. Yeah, I threw them in the trash. I didn't leave them out there because I still live on the same block. If I was moving blocks, I definitely would have left them. But since I'm going to be walking up there, I'm not trying to have shit shoes on my street. You know what I mean? But had I moved blocks, I definitely would have left them. You know?
Yo,
So-
something.
Hold on.
something I want. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. So then I'm going out to get sandwiches, right? So I pick up the sandwiches, and then I get back in the car. And you know, sometimes when you get back in the car, you just turn the car on, and then you fuck around on your phone a little bit or something. You're not ready to. You don't just pull right out, right?
No,
So-
I always get there. If I turn on my car, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm not always like that. Sometimes I'll get in the car and I'll
You're
sit for a second.
procrastinating. You're a procrastinator.
Nah, it's not really like I'm procrastinating. It's
That's what
because
you're
I'm always running from place to place to place. So sometimes the only moment I get is just being, you know, just I take 5 in the car. Now I'm glad I did this, and for some reason, something or someone out there was looking out for me because so I'm parked on the street, right? A very busy road. I'm in a street spot. There's 2 lanes going in either direction. Street parking on both sides, right? So there's a Mitsubishi Eclipse in front of me, right? Parked. The
That's
Eclipse,
funny for some reason.
and it was orange, and it was that orange rust color Mitsubishi Eclipse convertible, right? So this is the car that's parked right in front of me. Mind you, I'm on a very busy road. I'm on the busiest road, in fact, in North Beach, which is a popular neighborhood out here.
All right, dude. You're starting to tell the story like a woman.
So the Mitsubishi Eclipse I see it going to pull out. So I'm like, all right, I'll wait. So it pulls out. Then the car has to slam on his brakes. Huge accident right there in front of me. Right next to me, a guy fucking rails into this dude, right? He gets out of the car, jumps out screaming at the guy. They almost come to blows, and the entire street is out there just videotaping this like entire thing going on, right? So I get in the car and I just back the thing out and skirt all the way around the traffic and then just take off.
Did you ever think that maybe if you didn't procrastinate, that accident might not have ever have happened?
No, it would have been me, bro. It would have been me if I was the one.
Maybe not.
I think you might.
I think you might have. I think you was the one that would have not made the accident happen.
No. I saved the day.
That reminds me. You said the argument. I used to work at a moving company, and like it was like a late night, and we were like on the job for like 16 hours. And you know how everybody in New York says Dominicans and Puerto Ricans hate each other?
Do they say that?
Oh, they say that.
The white people do. Yeah, the white people say that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know. You know,
I don't know. I never, been in that kind of where it's that tight of a community. That much of a difference.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
I saw that play out in the most cartoonish way possible. It was a car filled with Puerto Ricans fighting over a parking spot with a car full of Dominicans. And they're like, you Puerto Rican motherfuckers. And they're like, you Dominican. And they were like rattling off every stereotype. You're like, you fucking chancleta, blah, 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 blah. And the other one was like, you motherfucker. I was like, is this like fucking like a musical, like West Side Story? Fucking like. And I'm just sitting there on the back of the truck, like smoking a cigarette. I'm like, it was like a show. It was like entertainment. It was like pay-per-view. It was amazing.
He says it's like West Side Story. I got a West Side Story.
Okay.
Me and my boy Mark, you probably met my man Mark. We're looking for a place in Long Island City to get a drink real quick. Like we wanted water or something, not even like, a drink, but can't find no place because it's all industrial. Right. There's a bar on the corner. So we go, fuck it. You want to go get a drink? We'll go get a drink. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. So we go into the bar. We're having a drink. And as we're sitting there, I'm looking around the bar. And I say to my man Mark, I said, dude, I think we might be in a gay bar. And he goes, why you say that? I go, well, they're showing West Side Story on all the channels. Every TV had West Side Story, and not even the old one, the new version.
Ooh.
Okay. I said, there's nothing but dudes here, and two of them are making out right over your shoulder. And he goes like this. He goes, yeah, dude, we're probably in a gay bar. And I go, I'm more offended we were here for 30 minutes. No one even offered to buy me a drink. No one even came up, said hello. Like, motherfuckers is rude. But
they probably thought you were together.
One thing I wanted to bring up. Have you seen this portal thing that they put on the beach?
Oh.
That you walk.
Let's bring it up.
It's like a little square.
Let me bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. Check this shit out. Have you seen this, man? And I want to get what you think about this shit right here. This shit is crazy. I don't think I'd go in. I don't know. I might. I don't know.
Well,
especially
so Gary,
here's the thing. After what you experienced, would you even go in this shit? Go ahead.
Now, Gary, I got to say, what you're seeing is this is like a screen recording from someone's phone. So they would use their phone camera, and it would show up as like augmented reality. That's what this is. It's not actually on the beach.
So you're not actually on the beach.
No, I don't think so.
I don't know because it says. Oh, so what do they got? They got on like some sort of headset.
So we're normalizing portals now. We really need the POV video of the beachgoers watching him walk into this.
So I'm saying.
Yeah. So no, I think
I've seen something like this at an airport.
Did you have to use your phone, or was it a hologram?
I think you use your phone, but only you could see your flight. Like,
we'll watch it and then we'll look into it. Yeah.
Commerce and architecture. Look at this. This is the portal into the Serendipity Furniture Store, which is a furniture store that uses inspiration from sea creatures and seashells. So you can actually go into this portal and suddenly you're in the space, like full on immersive. And currently I'm walking on the beach, looking around, and you can see the different furniture pieces and explore all of that, see what's on the menu or catalog, I don't know. But when you look back, you know, that's the portal again for you to come out and walk back to the surface. And when you do so, you know, you can just experience this portable portal into whatever store you're walking into.
The fuck is that, man?
First off, I just want to start off by saying I'm against 90% of AI shit anyway.
Yeah.
I think it's all eventually going to lead to someplace like Terminator 2, evil, crazy, manipulative, like whatever. Like all that stuff is
last episode. We said we are living every single 80s and 90s sci-fi movie you ever fucking saw. Anything that had Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, or that other dude.
Yeah, so it's just augmented reality. So, dude, basically the guy was just going with his phone, and it's like that Pokemon Go shit when you just put it up and then it superimposes shit. It's not that crazy.
Oh, so it's not a thing that's there.
No.
Yeah, so it's just some stupid fun phone shit for kids, or a lot of adults are kids these days. But
that's a big thing actually that they're saying that, you know, especially now, like with Gen Z, they don't want to grow up. Motherfuckers don't. They said that the number one sell of toys is for people over 18 now.
Well, a lot of those are collectible items too, bro. And there's a big market on that, like baseball cards and stuff. No. I'm just saying.
I'm talking about toys. The dudes are playing with them. They got they got adult Happy Meals now.
I mean, I think this Peter Pan syndrome shit is kind of like it's hurting society, you know. And it's like, so they already said there's boys are girls are boys, or there are no girls or boys, there's no gender, whatever. Now they're saying you don't need to grow up. It's like everything is trending towards a fucking catastrophe disaster of a breakdown of society. They want to just destroy society.
Yeah, that's what it is. They want to destroy society. It gets so fucking crazy because you brought up the whole thing about gender, which we haven't spoke about in a while, which I'm happy about. I've been trying to stay away from all that, even though it's so important.
I mean, a while, bro. Just like not yet in the podcast.
Not yet in the podcast. For a while, I mean, an hour and 30 30 minutes.
Yeah, not yet in this podcast, this episode.
Nah, but did you hear who was the chick that swam in the college and broke all the girls' records?
Oh, Leah
Leah
Thomas.
Leah
Thomas. Did you hear about what came out with her?
No.
That right now she's dating a dude who identifies as a chick.
So it's just two dudes dating.
And they identify as lesbians.
I mean, whatever, bro. Yeah, whatever.
But I'm
Enjoy.
just saying, isn't that a little fucking confusing?
It is confusing. And you know what? That
Like, couldn't
reminds
you have just dated a dude and
yeah,
like
that
not-
reminds me of freaking Caitlyn Jenner on my hat, who went on the Ellen DeGeneres show and told Ellen DeGeneres, I don't know if I'm for gay marriage because I'm traditional. I'm a traditionalist. And Ellen is like, wait, you're a traditional. It's like, dude, you're a dude who dressed like a chick. But then Caitlyn Jenner says, I always dated women as a dude. Now I'm a chick, but I'm dating chicks. But she says, or he's whatever the fuck. I'm getting lost in my own.
That's what I mean.
She.
No, he was right the first time.
She.
Come on, cut it out.
But she.
Caitlyn's went through the effort, bro. Caitlyn's went through the effort by your definitions. By your definitions.
I'll say she.
Definitions.
But then
I'll
if
say
that's
she.
the case,
I would say she when I'm seeing her. When yeah, I'd say
but
she.
follow
She
me
put in-
here.
She put in the work.
But follow me. If you're saying you're a she, but you're not sure about
That
the
goes
gay
against
thing, but
tradition.
you're dating girls, then you got to be a lesbian. You know what?
It's just all. I mean, when you think about it, the minute you accept the non-gender, then they just got rid of everything else.
Right. They got rid of
All you
everything
need is a
else.
Q. They just got rid of every fucking other letter there is. All you need is the Q.
Right. Right.
Everything is the umbrella under the Q. What is the Q? Well, if you're a man that goes with a man, then that's whatever. Because if there's no man, there's no women, and there is no gay, and there is no lesbian.
Right. That's another thing. I heard a gay guy be like, wait.
Gee,
Like,
Gary, your face, dog. Your face. The realization of what we've been talking about for the last 2 years just hit you all at once. And that look you had in your eyes of just disbelief.
But there's a deeper thing here.
I don't even know if I should smoke a cigarette or a blunt after this one. I'm confused right now.
There's a deeper thing here that's like, you hear about all these people changing genders because it's cool now, because that's literally what's in. It's like how Pokemon was in when I was little, or
yeah, it's very much a fad, but it's a fad that's fucking a lot of people up.
It's a fad that's of course it's a fad.
That's the problem.
Beyond fucking people up. I mean, it's like completely life changing, ruining whatever. But
yeah,
it's like
and it's weird because it's the only thing that they. Like I think we mentioned this. Like if you were suffering from an eating disorder and you thought you was huge, no doctor is going to sit there and put you on a diet.
Right.
They're not going to sit there and say that. They're going to say, listen, you're not huge. You need to eat. You're not eating nothing. You need to eat more than a peanut a day.
Fun fact about eating disorders. They say the eating disorders don't exist.
I love the fact that he said
countries.
fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. They say eating disorders don't exist in poor countries.
No, they don't.
They don't. Simply,
No.
they do not. They don't.
No, poor people don't have eating disorders.
The eating disorder rate in Ethiopia is 0%.
Yeah,
because
that's a rich man's. That's a rich man's thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I think I have an eating disorder. I'm just gonna.
So
go
what
out
I
there
want to
and
know
recommend
is.
Say that.
I think you have an eating disorder.
Yeah,
What's
I
the?
I definitely do.
Well, I mean, I don't know.
I just don't think it clings to his body. He eats food. I just think his body doesn't retain none of the food.
I don't know.
No, you got to see him, dude. He looks like he survived something critical, like
Famine.
Like famine.
Concentration camp.
Like you got to give him water to start in caps. You can't give him like a lot of water at one time because it'll shock him.
Yeah, when Christina makes me dinner, she only gives me three noodles at a time, so I don't eat them all at once.
You actually look like you're living in that kind of world right now. You look like you're living in the reality that is going to come. You know what I'm saying? You're like all whited out.
This like Kanye and Kim's house, all that white creepy shit.
No, this is the new. We're trying to go for a little bit of a brighter.
It has a very Kubrick feel to it.
Well,
yeah.
Has a very
speaking of Kubrick and speaking of brightness, that brings me to our next podcast topic. Japan is set to finally raise the age of consent from 13.
Are you telling me?
Wait, you know what?
Well, you know what? Big up to Japan. Big up to them. Big up to them, because right now we're trying to lower our consent. They're like, well, these 16-year-olds are real horny, dog. We should start banging. We should start being allowed to bang them out, because they're 16, dog. They're real horny with TikTok and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them already got only fans or whatever the fuck it is. People get mad. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is because I've never been on it. I'm happy not to know what the fuck it is. Only fans only. Who the fuck cares? All right.
Yo, I'm like, dude,
it's just another form of Pornhub.
To me, my fetish is like between 35 and 60. Like moms and shit, bro. I gotta think from moms.
Well, they take care of themselves and you.
Yeah.
Because they got the mom thing going on.
And they're not on some weird shit. They know what they want. They're not,
Especially from a man like you. Dick. and a laugh. You know what I'm saying? They're like, listen, don't worry about my money. I got that taken care of. Right there, Scoopy boy. Make sure you always make me laugh when I'm feeling down. And when I need some dick, you give me like some good young study dick.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. I feel like for certain people, the normal rules of engagement don't apply. Like, I was talking to some guy and he's like, no matter what, you're always paying for the pussy because you're taking them out. I'm like, wait, what? I used to fuck this black girl who was a prostitute and had a boyfriend. And I would spend the night at her place, and then we'd wake up the next morning and she would buy me breakfast. And then I was like, that's kind of like when I
sorry, I just want to say real quick. Way to be on point with that, dude. You were so on point that he said she was a prostitute who had a boyfriend. He said, you were perfectly on point. I just want to point that out.
She was a prostitute who had a boyfriend. And this is when I started to get woke to like how economics works. Because I remember in high school, the teachers, they were very like liberal, and they would be like, Reagan did trickle down economics, and trickle down economics didn't work. And here I am. I'm like, this bitch is fucking a billionaire who pays her money, and then she's taking me out to breakfast and paying for my Ubers.
Trickle down economics at its best, right?
This money trickled down to me through her pussy.
Well,
so
through your dick.
Through my dick. Yeah, through my dick. And it's like, bro.
Because it goes back to, money is nothing more than just the trade of energy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the trade of energy.
The physical component.
Yeah, you're always paying for some form of energy. So she was buying your dick with lunches and breakfasts and shit like that.
Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts with the fucking avocado toast and the fucking
those. You should at least be getting some fucking Denny's out of that shit, dog. I feel like you got a Denny's dick on you, man.
Bro, we've been all over the place. We've been all over the place.
Dunkin' Donut dick.
Yeah,
we've been all over the place, man.
Dunkin'
We had
Donuts
Denny's a couple of times.
Dunkin' Donuts is just one that popped into my mind now, but we've been all over the place. We had a good time together.
I fucking love you, Scoop. I love you, man. We've been all over the place, Yeah. He's to a lot of places, man. You can learn from this man, Brian.
I'm trying.
She was cool, man. I don't want to say this. She made use of all of her entryways were
all
open.
Of her orifices.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't.
Speaking
down, I just want to fail. Yeah, they say people are their own worst enemies. You guys notice my mama pictures? He says you made use of all orifices.
Happily.
which I appreciate that in a woman.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I really do.
absolutely.
Gary, did you see the article I sent you? Who's about the woman for our Woman
About
of the
the
Week
chick who
award?
got busted selling all those drugs.
Yeah, so this is our first Rated G Woman of the Week award. It's going out to this girl in the UK. She was living a life of luxury, and this is her. She's an engineer and University of Hull graduate, Danielle Stafford.
Wait, did you say University of Hull?
Yeah, Hull, Hull. It's in the UK. Hull, engineer and University of Hull graduate. What? Hull. University.
I don't know why he's laughing, but he's making me laugh. Go ahead.
University of Orifices. I'm sorry, that's what she was. University of Orifices.
The orifice of Hull.
So she got pulled over, and apparently was dealing crack, heroin, weed, and like a bunch of shit.
So what's the problem?
Well, there is no problem. She
Women
just,
need to be better drivers. The moral of the story. Women need to be better drivers. She gets pulled over, and they found like a bunch of weed on her, right? Is that what happened? They smelled weed. They smelled weed. She said, I got this weed right here. And then they also found a bunch of money, went to her house, and they found like $1,000. And she was making
270 wraps of crack, like $13,000 worth of crack, and like $5,000 worth of heroin.
And what's fucked up is they knew nothing about her. They said she was operating for years, right? Since 2000 something.
No clue.
No clue. The only reason why she got busted is because she had that traffic stop. Had she been a better driver,
and she was a working engineer too, bro.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They also busted her because she worked, and the money she made, she never touched it. She never withdrew any money out the bank. So when they went back and checked the records, they were like, you're obviously dealing drugs. You're telling us all these crack and all this shit ain't selling, but you're not taking money for the last how many years out of your bank account.
I'll be honest, I never understood. Like, I knew a guy who had a very legit job.
I hate to say sell drugs because no one sells drugs. Drugs sell themselves.
Right.
You hustle.
I knew a guy who had a very legit job. He was the manager of a very lucrative hotel in Midtown Manhattan. But he'd be on the clock managing the hotel, and then he'd be out. I know him through my friend who was living at the hotel during the pandemic, and he'd be out selling weed. And it's like, bro, what are you doing?
You have a habit?
You're managing the hotel.
Did he have a habit? You have some sort of habit?
I don't know.
Because that could always be part of it too. People hustle.
I don't know.
It's the thrill of hustling, man.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I know he has a wife and a kids and a house and all that shit's a lot of money and college and all that. So I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean it's weed.
Yeah.
It's like it's something that if he got busted, what's the worst that's gonna happen? He stops.
But it was also like they were really stressed and they were always fighting. Like the one would be driving and the other one would be running up and delivering, and it just seemed really taxing on both of them. And I'm like, you got this great gig here.
Because what's so fucked up is that's the technique right there that put paper boys out of business. You know what I'm saying? Because now you see the husband driving down the block and the wife jumps out and she hits all the fucking things and then jumps back in. And that used to be a kid's job.
Yeah, true.
That used to be a job that kids did to learn how to make money and get into the business and learn how, learn to be.
Yeah. It goes back to what we were saying about adults being kids. They're like, oh, McDonald's. Remember McDonald's raised the minimum wage? What happened? They passed that shit. Now we're ordering off screens.
Exactly. Exactly. They give them
now they all lost their jobs.
Exactly. They all lost their jobs. I go to McDonald's. There's 2 people working there.
Right.
There's 2 people working there.
Bro, I've seen like a bunch of grown ass people on the train reading Harry Potter. And it's like, look, I'm not bashing. I read Harry Potter when I was in 5th grade, and I enjoyed it. But it's like, dude, read some
like
adult
40,
books.
Reading Harry Potter at 40 years old.
Yeah,
Brian, I feel like Brian relates to that.
I like the movies.
The
I feel like
movies
you
are
just
great.
finished reading. You look like you just finished reading Lord of the Rings.
I haven't read a book. I haven't read a full book since I read Harry Potter the first time when I was in 5th grade.
Oh, that explains a lot. That explains a lot. Now I know why you don't know what anything is when I talk to you.
I'm reading a book right now.
My ignorance is what makes me adorable.
Well, it helps. It helps, but not that much. What are you reading right now?
I'm reading a book right now for spite.
Just to read.
Yeah, for spite.
Who are you spiting?
This book was recommended to me 10 years ago. And I didn't finish it 10 years ago. And the guy started roasting me. He's like, oh, I realized recommending this book to you was like giving an ape the Constitution. And I was like, so now this book's been hanging over my head for a decade.
What book is it?
It's called Harlot's Ghost, and it's 1,300 pages.
It was great. I read it. It's a good book.
For real?
No, I'm fucking with you.
I believed you.
Yeah, it's a Norman Mailer novel, right?
I'm really good at quick lies.
Yeah, Norman Mailer.
Norman Mailer. Yeah, I'm mandating myself 20 pages a day. I've kept up with
20 pages, bro. It's gonna take you a year to fucking read that thing in 20 pages a day, dude.
I think about 45.
Set a little higher of a goal for yourself.
No. I have a minimum. I have a minimum 20 a day, but I'm averaging about 35 a day. But I set a minimum for myself so I don't fall behind.
Are you enjoying the book?
I'm enjoying the book very much.
You know what? You're not.
No, I really am.
No, you're not. If you were enjoying the book, you wouldn't even be on my podcast right now because you wouldn't be able to put it down.
That's good.
That's
It's
great.
You
It
almost
should take
convinced
you,
me.
it should take you
No, that's how
65
convincing
days
Gary
to finish
is.
the book.
That's how persuasive Gary is you almost convinced me. Wait, maybe I'm not enjoying the book. You got into my head there for a second. Almost. You almost did. Almost did.
It seems like a good book. So it appears to be an autobiography of this guy Harry Hubbard, and it's made up stories about the CIA missions in Uruguay, following the Bay of Pigs and the mafia. And
wait a minute, how is it an autobiography and a made up story at the same time?
It's not, but they make it look like it.
It's a novel, so it's fiction, but they mix in a bunch of real life events and characters because he's in the CIA. So. Yeah,
it's like a historical fiction.
Yeah, so it touches like Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald, Nixon,
just like
Vietnam
this podcast.
War, all that shit.
Just like this podcast.
Yeah.
Scoop, what you got going on tonight, man? You performing tonight anywhere?
Tonight, what is tonight? Sunday? No, I don't have any spots tonight, but I'm continuing to work on the next episode of my show. This is a multiple part because I got you in there. I just had Pepino come over. Was it yesterday to play a safari expert? You know how late night shows used to have on they'd bring out like
Jack Hanna.
So I'd be like, we've got a safari expert, and he's and I'm like, he's got 12 degrees at animal colleges. This guy knows he's bringing out a mountain lion, and then he comes out and he's got my dog. And he's like, oh, it's a lion. I'm like, what are you talking about? So then he comes out, and then we got a fish from Petco, which I returned after I used it for the skin. And he comes out, and
how much did the fish cost that you had to return it?
$4.
Not worth the trip down, dog.
I mean, it wasn't about the money. It was that I didn't want to have a fish that I didn't give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Like I was just gonna have a fish
to love it.
Learn to love it. But
you might have grown to love it. I know people who had kids that didn't give a fuck about till they hit like fucking 7.
But yeah, I'm doing I'm just a lot of this is I'm shooting more on my podcast tonight.
Dude, you have an amazing and it's blowing up.
And you're on there on the next episode.
I know. I can't wait. I can't wait. It's actually the first show that I've been on that honestly, like nothing else after that. It's like I've done it already. Like if there's any other show that I've ever wanted to be on, I've just done it. I did his show. I wanted to be on the show, and he brought me on. I didn't even have to ask.
That's how I feel about this show, man.
Well, I'm gonna keep bringing you back, dude, because we always have great podcasts with you, man. You're an amazing individual, very intelligent. And still young. That's what I love about him, man, is that he's young. You know what I'm saying? And to see young people with a good mind is encouraging. We need that in comedy, and we need that just in this world, man. And that's me being old right now. You know, in my day, I still got a couple of llama shirts left, man. So come out and grab your llama shirt. How can they follow you, Jason?
You guys could check me out at Jason Scoop. That's, SCOOP. It's written right there in the corner. On Instagram, Jason Scoop Comedy. On TikTok, and Jason Scoop Comedy on YouTube.
You know where to catch me, Gary G. Garcia on Instagram, Facebook. Mondays, I'm over at The Pair. Although I won't be there this Monday, but I'll be there next Monday. And we're still doing the shows at the Not Quite Tuesday. Go check it out. And I'm over in AC all the other times. Brian T. Licata on Instagram. Check him out. And we thank you guys for listening, man. It's been fucking dope. Peace.
Stay black.